This video is going to explain the derivative rules of sine and cosine of x. On the left, we have the graph of sine x, and according to the derivative rules, the derivative is cosine of x. And on the right, we have the graph of cosine x, which, according to the derivative rules, the derivative is negative sine of x. And we know that the derivative is the slope of the line tangent to the graph, so this should make sense if we look at it graphically. For example, if we go over here on the sine graph, the slope right here is 0, 0. Slope here would be negative 1, positive 1. And if we would just start plotting these, negative 1, 0, 1, and then we were to connect them, we would notice that the derivative, or the slope of the tangent, is actually cosine. This blue graph right here is the cosine graph. And same thing on the right side with the cosine graph. If we start making tangent lines to the graph and then would plot their slopes, we would notice, if we connected the dots, that this is actually a negative sine graph. And here's just a cleaner version of the blue graph would be cosine and sine, and then their derivatives. But now let's do some examples. For example, if we had y equals 2 sine of x, how would we take the derivative of that? Well, we would leave the 2 out in front, and then the derivative of sine is cosine, so we have the derivative as 2 cosine of x. Or, for example, if we had y equals 4 cosine of x, and then we took the derivative of that, we would have 4 and then negative sine of x, and then we would just combine these into negative 4 sine of x. One last example, say we had y equals sine of x plus cosine of x. How do we take the derivative of that? We'd break it up into chunks. The derivative of sine of x is cosine of x, and then the derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x. So plus negative sine of x would just be minus sine x, and the derivative would be cosine of x minus sine of x. And I hope that's helpful.